So we finally have an update on the story about Amaranth's Mayor Bob Currie saying he was resigning from council on the September 2nd council meeting, which was brought to our attention through a Facebook post put out by Deputy Mayor Chris Garretts later that day. He was right about Councillor Mark Tyson leaving, which was submitted in writing just a few days ago. We already knew that though, since former Councillor Tyson called Dufferin News himself to let us know, and we thank him for that. #supportlocal. Anyways, I got the tapes, and guess what? It sure sounded like Mayor Currie resigned to me. Question is though, why is he still showing up? He's been to all the Dufferin County Council meetings and Amaranth Council meetings since this happened. I mean, what kind of a mayor calls his fellow council members scumbags and trash, which is what he did, and expects to receive any respect back? Does he not care that many will consider him to have embarrassed Amaranth yet again? Hi, I'm Josh McEwen with Dufferin News, and Mayor Currie had what I would classify as an explosive blow before he left the September 2nd council meeting, and what led to it seems awfully odd. So during a closed session of the meeting that was just opened up, Amaranth's Mayor Currie requested council's permission to take newer staff on a tour of the township himself, as he's obviously quite familiar with the area. In addition to this, he was asking for mileage to be reimbursed. Council did not feel this was a necessary request and did not support it. The logic behind this was that the Director of Public Works has lived in the area for 50 years and could take them for a tour in the township truck, without having to expense it through council. Additionally, there is still an active investigation into workplace harassment in a toxic work environment being performed by the Ministry of Labor. So some members of council did not feel comfortable to have one member of council along with two members of staff in a truck. All of this seems logical and definitely not something most people would claim they are going to resign over. But from what the tape indicates, that is exactly how Mayor Currie reacted. Anyways, you can hear Councillor Gail Little's response to the request and Currie's reaction, and we'll discuss it after. Thanks.
So anyways, what I'm requesting is simply this, okay? That I am given the authority, okay, to take Nicole and James on a tour of the whole township. And I explained the whole thing to them. I mean, I conducted 14 elections in this township, okay? I've been here for 56 years. I know this township like the back of your hand. And anyways, I know I'm extremely well qualified to explain the whole township to whoever is with me, whenever they are. So anyways, I would like the support of council to do that. Jill?
First of all, I'm not clear that we requested Ben to take Nicole on a tour. It was suggested that if Nicole felt she needed to, she could ask perhaps Ben or whoever she wanted to. But I don't think that we, as a council, said that Ben needed to take Nicole on a tour.
No, it wasn't. It was Chris that said, he said that you can go with, Ben can take you around. So that's what it was, and the conversation was dropped there. That was it.
And I think we've dealt with the issue, and it's been dealt with, so I don't see that it needs to be addressed any further.
I would like permission to take. Okay. If that's the case, I'm going too, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, I'm going. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. If that's the kind of bunch of riff-raff you people are, no kidding, you have dug yourselves into a bloody hole. I can tell you right now, you've lost two of the best bloody people that are ever on friggin' council, okay? Today, you are the biggest pair of friggin' scumbags I ever saw in my life, no kidding. Yes, that's what you are. And if you think this girl's going to hang around, okay, with a pair of trash like you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong, okay? I'm out of here, no kidding, and I'm not coming back. Yes, sir.
Well, with it,
I'm finished. Shut up!
Do not talk to me in that way.
Oh, I certainly will.
So as you heard, pretty wild, and as we know, he actually did come back. So yeah. Regardless, definitely not professional, and definitely not something the CEO of Amaranth should do or get away with, which is how Mayor Currie likes to present himself. I mean, from what it sounds like on the tape, he called his peers trash and scumbags in response to them not letting him use the taxpayer's dollar to become the town's tour guide. That's not his job, and the reaction he had to it, unless there's a lot more to the story which he didn't feel like providing at the time, was foolish. I mean, it's like he wants the Ministry of Labor to say the town of Amaranth or the township of Amaranth is toxic. This is not good for the town. Staff turnover is high since Currie got in office this time around, and this nonsense isn't the way to keep people there. It's got to be stressful for everyone involved, and it kind of seems like Currie expected at least someone else to resign with him. From everything I've observed and been told, that didn't happen, which may explain why he didn't follow through with the resignation. From what I understand, though, from the staff and council members I've spoken to, Mayor Currie is the only one who wanted to do this tour. No one else requested it. From the sounds of the tape, he felt like quitting because he didn't get his way. It seems like an emotional outburst, which was my suspicion when I asked him whether or not he resigned, and he was all dodgy about it. Well, we just heard it from his mouth. Yet he's still showing up for county and township meetings, and I've watched them all. The resignation hasn't come up directly in an open session yet, and honestly, I don't think it's going to unless citizens hold him to account. Reporting on this stuff only goes so far, and the question periods have been real quiet lately. That's the way to make things happen, though. This will honestly do a lot more than a petition. He's ignored that. He never cared about it, and that was clear from the beginning. No offense, but it always seems like moral posturing to me. If one actually wanted to make a difference here, instead of just virtue signal, they'll take the advantage of the proper political process. He won't ignore a barrage of questions and comments coming at him every meeting. He seems like one of those people who feels the need to speak his mind and correct the record when he feels like it's wrong. I'm like that too, so I can kind of sympathize with that one. But again, he actually is wrong with a lot of these things. Anyways, 4 or 5 people could have a lot more effect here than the thousands who signed that petition. We live in Canada, and we're lucky we get to do these things. And to not utilize something as useful as the question period makes it look like people were just looking to get mad instead of getting results. Many people had this critique about the flag situation, especially when no one showed up for the presentation. And given what I've seen, I honestly don't blame them for it. I mean, I was the only media to show up for it, despite every news source in town covering the outrage. Anyways, Currie has made it quite clear that he is fine with his position on the pride flag, being on the record. But this tantrum he threw may be different. This reduces his credibility, and it's hard to imagine anyone taking him too seriously after this. I mean, is someone like this really dependable? Who would hire someone who behaved like this? More importantly, who would allow themselves to be led by someone like this? I doubt Bob Currie would. Pretty sure he'd have a few choice words for the person if they were the mayor of Amaranth. I'm almost sure of it. Anyways, he is the current mayor of Amaranth right now, and that's concerning. What about next time he doesn't get his way? It could be at a county meeting, where it would be even more embarrassing and have some real consequences, especially if he remained mayor afterwards. It'd buy a lot of bad will with the other members on the council. On top of this, the Ministry of Labor investigation into workplace harassment and a toxic work environment seems to be at least partly related to him reacting poorly when people question his authority. Just as a result of the current investigation, he could get angry. It's quite possible that happens again, where he gets frustrated and actually resigns this time instead of just bluff. And that could be a big problem, especially if they end up in a court case where they get sued. Why was he even around then? But anyways, for all of those who justify Currie being in office, what then? What happens when he resigns and all that happens? Installing a new mayor takes time and money, and it doesn't sound like Amaranth has a lot of that. Anyways, I'm Josh McCune with Dufferin News, and I'll keep on this. I'll keep digging in and trying to find out what I can, because there's obviously more to the story here. But until next time, thank you for listening, and have a great one. Thanks.